Welcome to a video explaining you how you can use iFake text messenger in your classroom. This is a really good website, and as a teacher I tend to use it for a number of activities. First of all, getting students to send text or pretend text to each other about what they've learned in the lesson, fostering discussion between themselves by sending each other a text message and then replying with what they know. It's good for evaluating, posing questions. It's good for a plenary activity as well as a starter activity. So it has a number of uses in the classroom. And if you're looking for something a bit different than just getting students to write down what they're thinking or their content onto paper into the books, this is quite good. We know students like texting, and it's quite a novelty. So it's on ifaketextmessengers.com. First thing is you can do is change the name of your phone. So I don't know what you call your phone, but I think mine's just called My Phone. And then we can begin to add the messages. So let's pretend that we've been studying how to do binary conversion. And I'm going to ask the question, what have you learnt today? So we're using this as a plenary activity. Message 2, this is the response. So the student's writing this to themselves. I've learned how to convert denary into binary. I know that 1 byte is 8 bits. And they can change the colour here so that it appears over the side here. I know that the, let's say, 8th bit eight. Okay. Now, as a teacher, as they're doing this, you can either go around and you can check the message and you can say, well, actually, is that correct? Or they can print it out and you can peer assess, share it with each other, and other students can correct the information. So again, we're cementing the knowledge, recapping the knowledge, getting them to think about what they've learned. So let's say the scenario is I've walked around the classroom, I've seen the student making the mistake, I then edit here. Okay, and obviously you can spend as long as you want on this, but the bit I think the students will like, obviously apart from setting up as a text, is then we can go in and we can edit the battery level. So we can change the battery to 83%. We can remove the percentages, show the battery sign, it's quite nice. We can also change the connection, so we've got the signal strength. Now where I work, the signal strength is really poor, so I'm going to change that. Change your network provider. Vodafone, let's go for. Change the connection type. Again, it's changing at the top here. And settings. These are great. You can show the lock signs, message area. Let's put the lock sign in. The send button down here is a microphone, which I think is one type of phone, but other phones have a send button, so we can add that. Add the alarms in. Got my alarm on there, brilliant. So students have done that, and now what we can do is go to create image, and that creates an image of this text. And then students can either email it to you, upload it to their shared area, or they can print it out, stick it in their books. So you can download the image. There's the transcript there. There's the text message. So what I'm using this for is for a number of different activities and lessons. I can use it as a starter activity. So they come into the classroom, log in. What do you know from last lesson? Something simple like that. Okay, what do you know about hexadecimal? Right, so there's my starter activity, something like that. The student then come along. Write their response. Okay, the other activities is to get students to evaluate. This is really good for perhaps your low ability students, but even it works with high ability students when they're evaluating, let's say, evaluating the use of SSDs. So I won't write the whole message, but evaluating use of SSDs. And then we can have positive and negatives. So we can say no moving parts, quiet. Trying to think of typical answers kids give. Costs a lot. Large storage. And then what we can do is colour these out so that they are either a fact or a positive or a negative, because remember we're evaluating this, or strength or weakness. So quiet is clearly a strength. So let's make that blue. No moving parts. Now that's perhaps not a positive or a negative because they haven't really explained why. So we're going to move that to this side. Costs a lot of money is definitely a negative. So I'm going to green that one out. Large story is definitely a positive. And again, you can tell your students to colour code them up, or you can get them to do it in real time. So write out your content, and then once you have, once the students have finished that, go around as the teacher and say, okay, is this an advantage? Is this a disadvantage? And so on. Right, thanks for watching. I hope you find that useful. All of my classes like this. Tends to work better with Key Stage 3 and lower ability students or lower ability classes where perhaps they don't want to be writing out lots of content, or they don't know where to begin with the content. It's good for exam classes because now once you've got a printout or an image of this text, you can then take it. They can have it alongside their book, and they can then begin to write these into full sentences. And it's a good revision tool there. It's a good way of focusing them onto the content. And also I think when they come to exams and when they come to assessments, it's easier to remember a text message. You know, this is very visual. They can probably remember that rather than fuller sentences. So have a go. Let me know how you get on, and thanks for watching.